So, as you may have figured out, I have a lot of interest in evolution, and I think it explains much of human affairs and human nature. So, here I have this, I came across this in my college friends group. Somebody posted this article about this slug, right, which can regrow its entire body. So after some time, it discards the body and regrows it. Now, as I'm interested in evolution and lifespans, I said, I know why that happens. I wrote to the people who were the authors of that article explaining why this was happening, why this could happen and what does it mean. No, I did not, they did not quite understand what I was, my explanation. But anyway, let's hope you can. So here we go. Let's start with the first observation. We have different organ systems. There's the nervous system, there's the skin, what's the epithelial, there's the muscular system, there's the pulmonary system, the digestive system, there's the immune system, very important immune system, and so on. And generally, when you die, these all these systems die. In fact, if one of these systems dies, you're dead. So, an organism dies, if it dies as an entirety, then it inherits a lifespan of the organ system with the shortest lifespan. So if my heart fails, if I have different lifespans for my different organs, but if my heart fails, I'm dead. If my digestive system fails, I'm dead. Now, in my the section of my video where I explain lifespans, I note that we die. Part of the longer video in this, which is like, why do we die? And the answer is we die because our bodies deteriorate with time, and the greater the activity rate, the faster that organ will perish. Now, it's entropy. Disorder keeps increasing. If you have a faster activity rate, there'll be more heat produced, or the body is going to perish sooner. Now, if you have different organ systems, the same consideration applies. That if you have an activity for different organ systems, may not be the same, and therefore the rate at which they deteriorate may also not be the same. Now, generally, like you'd think, okay, the skeleton, you see like the different organ systems don't really deteriorate at the same rate. For example, the muscular system starts like experiencing a reduction in performance from 35 onwards. And then, of course, that sort of is synchronized with the way for humans, it will be, your muscular system may deteriorate, but you're part of a group. And when you're younger and you're stronger physically, you are in a certain niche in the group. And when you get older, then you're in a different, your role changes. Okay, so not true for all animals. If you look at lions, which also sort of live in small groups, when the older male lion, the strength decreases, then they're driven out by the younger lions, and they very soon they perish. They're not like by themselves. They're older. They can't run as fast. They can't hunt. And it's a pretty, like, basically they starve to death or they're attacked by hyenas or something. That's quite sad. Anyway, so what about like the skeletal system? That also doesn't really deteriorate, but later on in life, you get like osteoporosis, or the bones become more fragile. Because also evolution, like when it was building those bones, said, hey, you're not going to kind of really need, I'm not planning for you to live beyond like 110 years or something. I'm going to not give you more calcium. And with time, of course, the calcium goes away and the bones get weaker and as you get older. So the point being that the different organ systems have different trade-offs, right? Like each organ system would have it, like the body would be making a certain investment of resources. It would give that organ system a certain activity rate, and that organ system would have a certain lifespan. Now again, to come back to the point I made, if an organism dies in its entirety, that is, it can't replace an organ, then it inherits the lifespan of the organ system with the shortest lifespan. And of course, a longer lifespan has an evolutionary benefit. So when the evolution is doing a trade-off between activity rates for the different organ systems, it tries to find the optimum activity rate for the different organ systems. And if the organism dies in its entirety, then it has to like do that optimization with an additional constraint that the contribution of any organ system is limited not by the lifespan it can actually go on for, but the lifespan of the shortest lifespan of the different organ systems. Once an organ system dies, then the rest of the organ systems will also die. So there is this, in that optimization, there is this constraint that an organism dying in its entirety is an additional constraint to the maximization problem. What if the organism was not constrained to live only as long as the lifespan of the shortest lifespan of the least lived organ system? That is, the organ system did not die in its organism did not die in its entirety, then this constraint is removed. And when you're doing an optimization and you remove a constraint, that enables new solutions. And this would be possible if the organism could continue living after the death of an organ system by regrowing that organ system. So if it is able to regrow, then you no longer have that constraint that the organ system which could be regrown, which could have the shortest lifespan, you would not be limited by that lifespan anymore. So the removal of the binding constraint on the maximization problem leads to new possible solutions for the objective function. So the solution to the maximization problem, for example, would give a higher activity rate, less resources also, and shorter lifespans. If it takes more resources to have given it a longer lifespan, then those resources will not be provided. If the resources are needed for strength of the organ system, then you'd still need those resources. Now, the article to come back to about these slugs, Sacoglossan Sea Slugs, Elysia Marginata and Elysia Atroviridis. These slugs can regenerate their main body. Fascinating. These are, I call them two-speed organisms. And my prediction is that the main body is given a higher activity rate than the rest, and the rest is capable of growing the main body. So it's really like a slug with a head and a main body, torso, flapping around, moving around, and then the main body dies, and then the hair slowly regrows the main body, and again it kind of goes around. So if this is the explanation of what is happening and why evolution has chosen this kind of mechanism where you have the the head regrowing the body, then there would be a prediction which you can test, and the test is that other organisms of, let's say, similar size and similar characteristics that do not regrow their main body will show a lower activity rate for the main body. Test it. I think you'll find that the explanation which I have given for why evolution chose this particular mechanism has this prediction, and you'll find that the prediction is true.